I don't think love can be defined. As human beings, we've even tasted what pure love is because we don't know how it feels. Closest for me in my limited human perception would be love would be something a little deeper than that, where their happiness, not just their qualities.
The butterfly.
Yes, butterflies in the stomach. Sometimes when we come across certain people, you feel like staying in a toxic relationship, that's real failure. Even outside the court where we had filed for divorce, I remember standing in front of him and saying, if someone loves you and they choose you, it'll work just the way you love and choose them. But if you choose them and they don't choose you, you cannot force it to work.
Hi Prachi, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
Great, and I can feel the energy. It's really high. I think it's because of the topic today we're going to talk. It's love.
Wow.
Yeah?
Yes, excited.
Yeah, so how would you define love?
I don't think it's easy to define it. I don't think there's a definition actually. Yeah, like there was this movie that I had seen once, okay? So in which the person talks about, like, there's a teenager, okay? He's in love with this other teenage girl and he wants to be really impressive with her, and he says to her, love is not an emotion.
Huh.
It's a state
Okay.
of being.
Okay.
Okay, so now if you are a state of being, what is it then? Like right now, are you love? It's difficult to measure, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think love can be defined. I think
Okay.
it's something that we are at our core, we emanate it, but as humans, I don't think we know what it is.
So basically, we've all assumed love to be something.
Yes, we have. So, based on what Bollywood has fed us, Hollywood, Tollywood, any wood has fed us, the concept of romantic love has become more and more defined. I will not say correctly defined, I will just say defined. But I don't think as human beings we've even tasted what pure love is because we don't know how it feels. Like, okay, when we say a mama has the unconditional love towards her baby, yes, it comes very, very close to the purest form of love there can be. Or what probably Gautam Buddha may have experienced based on the stories we've read about him.
Yeah.
When he came back all enlightened and he felt compassion for all beings, maybe he was actually emanating that true love that is at our core. But I was not there during that time. I don't know what happened. Which is why I say, I mean, I can just hope and pray that when I do feel love for someone, that I don't put conditions or restrictions in place. But then again, if they do something that hurts me or harms me, will I not change the way I feel? Will that not change? Then where is the love? You know? So that's why I feel it's almost impossible for us to really define it. But I think maybe we just feel it and we become it sometimes without realizing. And if we do realize that we are becoming love, then the separation kicks in. So I think closest for me in my limited human perception would be love is oneness.
Okay.
Because we are just love at our core. Everybody is just love at their core, and we are all from the one source. We're just different manifestations, that's it. So it would be oneness then.
So is unconditional love a misconception?
No, I'm quite confident it's a reality, but I'm not sure as humans we know what it means. So every day we strive. It's an endeavor to understand what unconditional love is. Very simply put, love which is not based on conditions. Yeah, there are no demands over there.
Yeah.
But having said that, like I mentioned earlier, if somebody was to harm you, someone you love infinitely, if they cause you any kind of harm, does that not change how you feel about them? It does. So then what is the meaning of unconditional love in that relationship? And I'm not saying romantic relationship. It could be any relationship.
Yeah.
Right? So like when we speak of parents also, there are parent-child equations which are not perfectly healthy, where the parents are not on a good page with their kids and their kids are not feeling that love for their parents. Even parents are not feeling love for their kids. So it becomes conditional then. So then where is the unconditional love? Are we really seeing it in our experience? Or maybe we have glimpses of it when we see pure compassion. No distinction between two beings, not necessarily only humans, any species, where we truly see a person give of themselves without expecting anything in return and simply just hold the space for that other being maybe that's what love is, where there is no barrier, no restriction. Maybe that's what unconditional love is.
Beautifully said. Now, narrowing down to romantic relationships. Often there is, a talk when we say you love somebody or you're infatuated to them. Like, what is the difference?
Oh my
When
God,
you.
there's so much of difference. Right? So infatuation, going by definition itself, it's a crush. Like you're infatuated with how beautiful they are, or there's some quality or qualities that you're obsessed with regards to them that they have. And if we speak in terms of movie definitions of love, then that would be the next stage that follows infatuation. Not always, sometimes, right? So essentially, the difference would be something that you're just on the surface obsessed with or taken by, enamored by infatuation, right?
Yes.
But then love would be something a little deeper than that, where their happiness, not just their qualities, are of importance to you. Where making them happy or making them feel important, cared for, looked after, loved, makes you feel happy.
But often it's like you like somebody, could be infatuation, but we get into one full imagination that, yes, I love that person. So when you are just, you like that person on the surface level, how do you realize that it is just the surface level thing or it could be love?
That's a great question. In fact, when you are infatuated with someone, you're only obsessed with their positives.
Yes.
We glorify what we like about them. We magnify it. We put them on a pedestal, like my teacher says, John D. Martini. And then in love, what I believe happens is that you see what you perceive as their flaws, what you perceive as their not so good qualities, but you still love them. So I think that for me is the difference between infatuation and love, where you have come to accept them entirely for who they are, not just for what you think is great about them, where you've come to accept their quirks, their so called crazies, and you still want to be with them, you still choose them, you still want them in your presence, and you want to offer them the best of you. I think that is the difference, according to me.
Well, these terms like connection, chemistry, compatibility, all of these are like love terms, something that we connect with love. They sound same, but are different, right? So, how do we identify all of these in love?
Okay, I think we can connect with many people. We may not have chemistry with many people. So, if you go by definition in love, what does chemistry mean? It means having some kind of a spark that evokes a kind of emotional response in you that many other people don't evoke.
Okay.
Something that excites you but makes you nervous at the same time. Where you're a little obsessed with how they perceive you, you want to come across as likable, lovable, admirable, respectable. And so you kind of deviate a little from your authentic self because you feel you want to be a better version of you for them.
Yeah.
Right? So, in the state of you having felt that chemistry with them, this becomes your emotional reaction where you want to inflate yourself because you want them to like you.
The butterfly.
Yes, butterflies in the stomach,
Yeah.
right? The weakness in the knees and the palpitations in the heart
I
and
know.
that sweatiness or dryness in the mouth at the same time, which is very weird. But it happens to all of us, right? So that's when you realize, oh my God, this person makes my heart go aflutter. They change my chemistry. Chemistry,
Chemistry.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so connection, chemistry, and compatibility. Compatibility, I think, is present throughout because unless your value system and their value system is at least similar, it does not have to be the same. But if it's not at least similar, then you won't find yourself feeling compatible with them. And so you won't feel moved by them in any way, you know?
Okay.
So that's why sometimes when we come across certain people, you feel like, there's this instant connection. This is so good. That's because, Are, you are pink, I'm also pink. you know, that's the kind of kiddie stuff that we do initially. But then our minds are programmed to seek out similarities. They're programmed like that, right? We don't want differences because differences are difficult to handle.
Exactly.
But as they say, opposites also attract, right? So the more there is compatible differences, not contrasting differences. Like you like X, I like Y, but X and Y can get along, right? But if you like X and I like Z and X and Z cannot get along, that won't work.
Can we
Yeah.
give some real life examples?
Yeah, sure. So let's say if you're in a relationship with somebody and you're discussing a future with them, and your value system says that having kids is important and having a family is important, and their value system says that having cats is important, kids are not in the scenario. Now these are contrasting values.
Yeah.
Now this is a compatibility issue, because this is a very big life goal where y'all are not on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if they were to say that having cats along with kids is important, you would still want to make it work. Hey, that's okay. Right? So this is the difference between contrasting, like at least the value systems are similar, like they're close by. But if they're exact opposite of each other, then you have a compatibility issue. And compatibility, I think, sparks more chemistry. Because when you feel in alignment with someone, you start to like them a little more. You know? You find them more attractive.
But is there a way to, get more compatible with your partner?
Yes, of course. Set something which is called a code of honor. So, a code of honor is essentially a set of values which are non negotiable for you, which, when presented to the opposite person, they have clarity about what to expect from you and what do you expect from them. So, there is no unnecessary fighting. Unnecessary clashes can be avoided. Like if I say that you yelling at the top of your lungs when we are in disagreement about something and you shouting at me is a non negotiable for me, then next time, though you have the choice of not shouting, staying quiet till you feel like you're not going to shout anymore, and then talk to me. That way, the code of honor that is said protects the relationship. It protects both individuals in the relationship. So this improves the compatibility, because now you're not doing anything that's offending me or hurting me to the level of me feeling this person doesn't care. So yeah, code
But
of honor.
communicating the code of honor is very important.
Absolutely.
And how do we proceed? Like, how do we take the first step to set the code of honor?
Okay, so first step is obviously discovering yourself. Like when I speak to my community, my eagles, my participants, if you don't have a code of honor for yourself, what code of honor will you set for your relationship? You need to first learn who you are. What are your own values? What do you like? What do you not like? Where will you be a little flexible? Where you're not going to be flexible at all? Once you have clarity about yourself, then you ask for the code of honor of your partner. They present their code of honor. Then the two of you discuss each other's code of honor and sit together and write a separate code of honor for the relationship.
My God.
See, it's not as tedious as it sounds. You know why? Because when you see each other's values clearly, it becomes very obvious what you need to do and what you don't need to do. But if I'm unclear about your value system, I may say something or do something that may offend you and not even realize why you're offended. So usually if you see in romantic partnerships, especially, this happens and the husband says, what did I do? At least tell me what, what are you supposed to, you should know.
Exactly. Oh my God.
How? I'm not a mind reader. So this is because there's no clarity in what's important for her and what's important for him, right? So it's not necessarily always the male and female equation. It can be any equation where one partner is saying you need to know, you should know by, happens. But unless I tell you what offended me or hurt me, how will you know? That is my responsibility towards you for our relationship, to communicate the code of honor that is important for me.
Right. So when we are talking about compatibility and connection, there's something called this deeper connection. When the couple are compatible, I think they have the deeper connection. Do you have, or are there signs that we can see when you are connected deeply to each other?
Yes, such a beautiful thought. Very nice. Thank you for asking this question. Yes, there clearly are. Because you are seeing, or like if you're not a part of that equation, from the outside also you can tell, to sound very cheesy, that they'll complete each other's sentences.
Oh.
It's not literally that though. They are completing each other's thought processes.
Yeah.
So you will see this flow between the two of them. There's an energy exchange between the two of them that nobody else has. It's very unique to them. And that's evidence of the deeper connection you're talking about. So sometimes it's like, you look at somebody and you say, you're like yin and yang. Like this works so beautifully. Not that they don't fight, not that they don't have problems. They do. It's just that the authenticity of their connection, it's very strong. They're very genuine with each other. And I think this is one of the biggest signs where you see this flow of energy between two people, where you know it's there, you can't put your finger on it. And I think one of the other signs that you can tell people have a deeper connection is that they know each other's reactions to the situation and they adjust their response based on their partner's reactions.
Wow.
So it's like, Hindi में बोलते हैं संभाल लेते हैं. You know, like they'll hold the space. Like they know that this situation is going to piss this one off. They're going to lose it. They're anticipating they're going to lose it and they'll hold the space. That's another sign of a deeper connection.
Wow.
You know, and I saw this, both these things I saw in my parents. Like my mom and dad, they always had this, like out there in public also. My dad was a very short-tempered person with us. With the world, he was very nice. Yeah. No, that's where he was an amazing man. So between mama and baba, no, it was always this, like they knew when to hold the other person's space. And they would be okay with their each other's quirks and crazies. Because they know it's just going to come and go. That's a deeper connection, for sure.
But yeah, I think most of our parents, they know. But does that come with that experience, or if a couple is just starting their life, and how do they know that, yes, we are getting connected deeply?
I don't know whether it comes only by experience. I think sometimes it just happens.
Yeah.
Like that spark we spoke about. I think sometimes it's just that soul contract that you have with somebody that you've lived lifetimes with them before. And so your soul is anticipating. It knows before your physical role, human knows. And so you just feel very comfortable in their presence, you know. You just like, you ease into their presence like they've been around for 45 years and you're like, Arey, how did this happen?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I wouldn't want to limit it by saying that it happens only with experience, but it definitely does increase with experience. It does. Because when we live with somebody for a long time, we kind of get used to how they function. Either we do our level best to change them, which always fails. Okay.
That's one of my questions as well. I'll come up.
Yeah, either we struggle to change them or we just adjust ourselves around them. And that adjusting ourselves around them, so long as it's not damaging, is okay.
But yes, addressing the elephant in the room, why do women always want to fix their partner? I mean, they know it. It's. I mean, why would they do it?
Okay, there are some
including myself.
There are some women out there right now who are listening to you. They're thinking, hello, I'm not trying to fix my partner. What nonsense. Not all women are like that. Where subconsciously she's probably thinking, if only my husband changed this one thing, no, it would be okay.
And there are people who say, my love will change him.
I can't believe it.
I will love him so much that he will change this for me. I mean, how?
Okay, I think it comes from our idea of the lover rather than the lover himself.
Maybe.
We all have a concept of a partner based on our cultural upbringing, our exposure.
I will tell you. Movies.
Yes.
Books.
Yeah. Let's not say books. Let's say crappy romantic novels. Okay, still, it makes good entertainment reading. Please don't stop writing crappy novels. They're fun. So I think it comes from that conditioning that this is my ideal partner. And so we take a fairly decent man and shove him into that mold and want to chop off his excess. Ki nahi bhai, tu isme hi fit hoga. This is my partner. You're supposed to be like this. But that's not how it works. So we are in love with the idea of the lover, not the lover. And that's where the fixing comes in. But the moment you realize that that's just a concept, right? And you awaken to how beautiful this man or this woman is, irrespective of the mold, how amazing their qualities are along with their quirks. And the more you focus on them being phenomenal with you and loving and giving and caring and all those beautiful things with you, their quirks don't matter that much. But of course, there are some people who are obsessed with it has to be this way because this is the life I want for myself. And so what they'll do is they'll struggle for a very long time to force this person into the mold. The person won't fit into the mold. They'll either end up ending the relationship, like breaking up, or they'll end up having a very miserable relationship for the rest of their life. Either is not a good scenario.
Exactly.
You know?
So how do we handle these situations? Both in the first case when they break up.
Yeah, nobody gets into a relationship thinking that someday we're going to end this. We always hope that till death do us part will be my reality. I had that illusion when I got married. Okay, so when I stood at the altar and I said, I do to my husband, in my head I was thinking, wow, this is for life. Then I realized, wow, this is for life. And then that thought process changed, cut to
Oh
five and a
my
half
God.
years later when I got divorced, and like, wow, this is not for life. Realization. So there is nothing that's permanent. Not to say that relationships don't last forever. Marriages do, but people change. And if both partners are not scared by the change, they are inspired by the change in their partner. They take it as, wow, this is new, next chapter. Then the relationship will last.
Yeah.
Like in the 47 years that I've seen my parents be married to each other, uh, till my dad passed away, they changed so much.
I think that's a beautiful evolving process,
It
right?
is. It is. And I didn't realize back then, I used to just enjoy watching them together. I didn't realize how much I was enjoying watching them together. Like the love that they had, the way they were expressive towards each other. Like my mom's a singer, she's an amazing star on stage. My dad, phenomenal musician. Both of them stars in their own league. My dad would be sitting in the wings on the stage when my mom was performing. She would come off and he would give her feedback about how beautiful ये हरकत बहुत अच्छी थी, हे कितनी छान गायलीस तू गाणं, like in our language he would compliment her, he would shower her with a lot of love. That I have seen increase as they aged, and she needed more reassurance as she aged as an artist, and he was there to give it to her. That's evolution.
Wow.
In a couple. So the way they changed, like my dad's tempo got shorter and shorter because his telomeres got shorter and shorter, and my mom's patience kind of grew more and more because she's a doctor also. So the point being that both of them were just adjusting around each other like cogs in a machine. And it was very beautiful to watch that two people who choose each other every day can evolve together every day, so long as they're clear about this choice is right for me. So I think evolution is inevitable. You will change within a relationship. So rather than feeling like, my God, my partner has changed so much, this is not how he was, this is not the man I married. No, ask yourself, how can I use this change to inspire some change in me that's positive?
Okay.
So otherwise we all feel FOMO, right? Like if a partner is growing really rapidly and I'll feel like, oh my God, like you're leaving me behind. Why would you do that? No. Can I join you there? If I can't join you there, where can I go that's on my own path? Because then I've got you to hold my space the way I'm holding yours.
I think this is a wonderful thing to avoid breakups. I
Yes,
think rather than just giving up on a relationship, it's so good to grow together.
absolutely. Once you have expanded, you'll not go back to what was. You will explode into the new expansion. And it's essentially talking about flexibility, not rigidity.
Okay.
Okay, so in a relationship, if you apply that, the harder the structure, the more it'll collapse, the more it'll break. If you see nature, nothing is hard in nature that will last too long. Anything that is supple and soft will last forever. That's why they say that swaying trees are not taken by the storm because they bend. So the more flexible we are in a relationship, the longer we can make it last. The more rigid we are, the more this is only how it should be and I will not adjust, compromise, open up to it. Then we are making it impossible for the other person to even adjust around us. Because it's a two-way street, right? It cannot be like you adjust to me, I will not adjust to you. Won't work.
Yeah.
So the more flexible we are, and the more flexible we are, the more we'll grow together, the more we expand together, we will not go back to our old selves.
That's a great thing in a relationship. Right?
Exactly, right? So we are evolving together.
Yes.
And there is no need for us to go back to who we were 10 years ago. There's no need. Because what
Absolutely.
we have today is so beautiful.
Definitely. So now going to the second part, when we told you are in a miserable relationship. So there are situations when we feel that why am I in this relationship? I want to, break up, or I don't want this, but still we choose to be in that relationship.
Yeah.
So how do we know, or when do we decide to stay in the relationship or move out?
That decision point, that, okay, this is it, I want to give up on it, it's highly subjective because it is dictated by so many things that you've experienced in your life. It's dictated by your conditioning at that point in time, your emotional state at that point in time. So that's why we say when you're highly emotionally charged, don't take important decisions. Don't say, I'm ending this when you're crying or when you're really angry. And don't say, drinks on the house when you're really happy. Okay, like drinks on me, like I would treat everybody. Because your emotional state is not a good place to make a rational decision. Rational decision requires your executive center to be functioning properly. Your blood cannot be back here, it has to be here. And if you're emotionally charged, your blood is all in your amygdala, it's all back there. Primal behavior, right? Emotion driven behavior. But if you're in a relationship where you are unable to decide whether or not to move out, and if you're making this decision based on external factors, the longer you stay in this relationship, the more miserable you will get. I guarantee you this because I've been there. My parents had advised that I let go of my marriage, and I still held on to it for 3 more years after that. 3 whole years of my life that I'll never get back.
And when did you decide to move out?
When I started realizing that I have a roommate, not a husband. Yeah, and I was like, hello, I think I want a husband. If I have a partner, he has to be a husband, he can't be a roommate. Yeah, so we used to barely see each other. He used to barely live at home. And then I don't blame him though. We were not right for each other. Yeah. So he's settled down now. He's married. He's found his partner. God bless. But having said that, to take that decision was not easy. And
Yeah.
even outside the court where we had filed for divorce, I remember standing in front of him and saying, what are we doing? We promised we would, I do was forever. What are we doing? Like, why don't we make this work? I still remember that. I remember it very vividly. And he didn't say anything. And what you need to realize is this: silence is the answer. If somebody is not giving you a yes or a no, they're answering. You just don't like the answer they're giving you. It was a no. Because if it was a yes, it would have come way earlier. We wouldn't have been outside that court. Right?
Yeah.
So if you are in that position where the answer that you get to a plead for connection, a bid for connection, or a cry for help, if the answer you get is a silence, the answer is a no. Then you need to choose for yourself, right? So you either stand up for yourself and say, hey, this is not how things work for me. Your behavior needs to change today in favor of us. If you're unwilling to change your behavior in our favor, then I'm willing to let you go. But the willingness to let go, again, like I said, it's dictated by so many things. People are really afraid of being ostracized in society. They don't want to be criticized. They don't want to be called names. They want to be respected and liked. And they don't want the world to think, oh my God, this person has a failed marriage. No. You know what's actually a failure? Staying in a toxic relationship, that's real failure. Because when you end something that's toxic for you, is it not a victory? It's a success.
It is. It is.
But nobody can tell you whether the marriage is bad. Only you need to decide for yourself. The world can say whatever they want. You choose. You be sensible enough to discern whether this is a good match for you. If you feel this is not a good match for me, it's damaging me, I'm losing myself, then you have the right to take the decision you feel is right for you.
Yeah.
You know? So ending a marriage is not failure. Letting go of something that's toxic is a victory. We need to have more divorce celebrations where toxic relationships end.
Yes. Again, as you said, it is subjective.
It is subjective. Yeah. So, see, again, I'm not saying that all marriages need to end in divorces. I'm saying if you are in a toxic relationship and it's harming you, then it's time you actually asked yourself whether this is the right relationship for me.
Absolutely.
And only you will take the call. Nobody else will tell you what to do. Nobody can. It's nobody's space and right.
And I think even the life after divorce, it's just us who is living it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Not the society, right?
Exactly, right? So nobody comes to ask you whether you're feeling okay when you're up at 3 in the morning. But they'll be there at 3 in the afternoon around the water cooler making jokes about how you are a terrible wife or a husband. But that's going to happen. People have mouths, they'll talk. But again, like a relationship is not a community project. It is between you and your partner. But then you do tend to bring all your family members into bed with you because your conditioning is coming. You are bringing everybody into the relationship because my parents taught me this. This is how it should be. Otherwise, you're not a good husband or a good wife. So, because I have that value system, I'm forcing that value system on you, and that's working negatively for our relationship. Both partners are doing it. So, what you need to do again is stop and ask whether this serves you. Maybe you both can figure out a third equation altogether, set a different code of honor that protects your marriage, and you won't end up in a divorce because you will be adjusting flexibly to the evolution of your relationship. You won't be rigid. And then maybe you can make it last.
I think that sums up our conversation.
It has.
Right? Yeah. So now going to a life like singles, say. A lot of us think, no, I should not be single. I should get committed. I should get a partner. It could be because they are either scared of being alone or they really want a partner. So if I am scared of being alone and that's the reason or that's pushing me to get a partner, how do I not do that?
You can't stop feeling scared about being alone, can you? Okay, so here's the thing. The reason we are scared of being alone is because we don't have confidence in taking care of ourselves. We have been, the need for a caretaker has been implanted in us by our conditioning. That if you don't have a partner who cares for you, then you have failed at your personal life. You're still not married. You're 57 years old, you're not married. Why didn't you marry? Have you seen this becomes a topic of discussion?
Of course.
Why? If somebody retires or doesn't retire also at 57, you will not say, you're still not retired. Nobody will say that. Why not? Because that's socially acceptable, this is not. But then, who's to say what is right for you, what is not right for you? Now, here's the thing. I love my own company. I'm very happy being on my own. And I would much rather not have 35 people from my husband's family tell me how to live my life. Different perspective, right? I'm not saying it's the best perspective. I'm saying that's the perspective that works for me. Having said that, if I was married at this point in time, if I did have a life partner that I was legally committed to, his family is my family. So his needs, they don't come above my own. They come along with mine. So if people matter to him, those people matter to me. And if it makes him happy to make them happy, I'll take care of it too. Just not at the cost of myself. Because I love myself. I love being with myself and I love being alone. The more you know yourself, the more you get to love yourself, the more you get to spend time with yourself and be happy about it, the lesser you feel the need for a partner.
Oh.
Then the partner becomes a choice. It becomes a want.
Okay.
Like I want a partner to travel with. I want a partner to celebrate candlelight concerts with. I don't need them. So if they're there, great. If they're not there, great. It's the same. So this need comes, the fear comes out of that. I'm not sure I can live my life alone, and if I don't have a partner, what will I do? So it's a very deeper conditioning that we actually have this, all of us, especially women, because we tend to feel unsafe more. Men don't feel that unsafe, women feel unsafe. And we tend to notice it more and more in society, where you see a couple and you see that woman is treated differently than the single woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
So that becomes scary for us, right? So when we look at, oh, just because there is a man by her side, she's safe. Nobody's messing with her. Nobody wants to dare to mess with her. But a single woman, on the other hand, becomes a vulnerable target. And if it's there in my head, this thought process, then I'll definitely have the need for a partner. I'll definitely think that I need my alpha protector right here, So it is all, it's so subjective. Like it's, for us, it's a very cultural thing that women with husbands are respected. Yes, they're respected more, they are safer. It's cultural.
Yeah.
But having said that, it doesn't make you half of the individual, that the beautiful individual that you are. But to have the courage to stand up to society and say, hey, you know what, I choose not to take a partner. I choose to live by myself. I love my life. And if a partner was to fit into this equation and we both were to fit into each other's lives, without having to give up on our authentic selves, yay, welcome, right? But then to go back to the origin, the point that you asked your question, that if there is a fear that I can't live without a partner, like I have to, how do I change that? You need to start to get to know yourself. Love yourself, because it took me a very long time to come to this point. Even I used to think that, no, I need a life partner, I need a husband, I don't need anything. Nobody does. We just want these things. But you need to come to that level of self-sufficiency, self-reliance. Having said that, once you do have a partner, don't be so hyper-independent that they don't have to do anything for you. That is also the other extreme. Yeah? Let them be the protector provider. Give them the opportunity to come through for you, so that you can soften yourself a little bit. Because I've noticed women who are independent, women who are single especially, are very alpha in their behavior. We're very...
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes. We're very masculine. So our divine feminine, she doesn't get the chance to come out. But the moment there is a divine masculine in your presence, she will show up. That soft, gentle, sweet side of you. And that's beautiful.
Yeah. So that's good when this happens, when you strike a balance, and that's great. But in certain relationships, what happens is either of the partner, they would start feeling, I've got the best. Either of the partner, they start feeling, this is all that I deserve. I can't do better. You're the best thing. So that kind of mentality, is that good in a relationship?
Wow. So let me ask you this. When you were little and you got some birthday gift that you really wanted, okay, forget birthday, just a gift that you really wanted, and you got it and you felt so good about it, like this is amazing. Cut to 1 week later, a newer model was released of that.
Oh my God.
And then you started wondering, I don't have this feature. I don't have that. It's natural human tendency to want more, keep wanting more. But I think in relationships, this thought comes, when we feel that we are losing this partner and we can't do better. Like, honestly, when your relationship is fantastic, beautiful, you're never really focused on how beautiful and fantastic it is. You're just living it. We never really pause and think about, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so blessed. When does that thought occur? It comes usually when we are afraid something has gone wrong, or we are going to lose them in some way. That's when we realize, I don't want anybody else. This person is the best person that I can have. That's when that thought kicks in, right? So now we are being driven by fear because the newer model has not come into our experience yet. But the truth is this. There are different kinds of experiences out there in the world. It's up to you whether you want to say yes to them. It's not that you cannot do better. It's that this version of you is right now most comfortable with this version of them. But the moment this equation changes, there'll be a newer version of you that may not be comfortable with this version of them.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is all about, again, evolving in relationships, right? So, like, why do people fall out of love with each other? Because the vibrational frequency of one has changed and the other is on another vibrational frequency. That's all there is. So it's the same thing. So now if you are in a relationship with somebody and if you're insecure that I can't do better than this, I cannot have this, what I have, I can never love again like this. People say that I can never love again. Well, you cannot love again like this, the same person, because you won't get the same person outside, but you'll get a different one. And that person will bring out things in you you never knew you had. Yeah, so basically the point being that when they bring out things in you you never knew you had, you discover a new version of you, right? So it's like this, no? Each person brings out certain qualities in us. We bring out certain qualities in each other. Like two colors sometimes make a very pretty third color. Sometimes they just make black. Right? So that's compatibility. And the kind of person I was with my ex-husband, what I brought out in him was horrible. Okay? I'm sure that's not the case right now with his current wife. And it's the same with me. Like what he brought out in me, no. I hated that person. But the way I am today, the kind of people I have in my environment today, the kind of things that they bring out in me today, I didn't know I had those qualities. And so giving yourself the opportunity, if life has to offer you one, because if someone loves you and they choose you, it'll work just the way you love and choose them. But if you choose them and they don't choose you, you cannot force it to work. Which means probably they are not the right match for you. And because you're afraid that they are the best you can do, you're not allowing what is the right match for you to come into your existence.
Okay.
So, simplest example, you know how we change sizes every year, especially women. Like we go 2 sizes up, 2 sizes down every now and then. So your wardrobe is filled with your old size. Your new size, there are no clothes. You're going and buying new size clothes, but the wardrobe is still filled with old size clothes. There's no room. Where are you going to put this? So instead, you just keep forcing yourself to wear those old size clothes, and it makes you miserable. Makes you feel fatter because those clothes are tighter. Right?
Yeah.
But you are not made for those clothes. Those clothes are made for you. Replace those clothes. Remove what doesn't serve you. Place what serves you, and then see how your life changes. So it's the reason why I gave this example is because we see this on a daily basis. We don't hesitate to change shoes that bite. We don't hesitate to change clothes that don't fit. But we make such a big deal out of people in our lives. It's not about replacing them. It's about respecting what is right for you. Because if they are not right for you, you are also not right for them. So you insisting on holding on onto a toxic relationship or a bad relationship is you doing disservice to yourself and to them.
Wow.
Because they also deserve better.
Absolutely.